How does one receive compensation for a personal injury, for a car accident? Well, hopefully, and unfortunately, hopefully, they're not hit by someone who is driving without insurance. And now in Ohio, it's state law that if you're driving a car, you're supposed to have insurance. But we also know that there are a lot of people who are driving that don't have car insurance. So you hope that the person who caused the injury is insured. But if that person is not insured, you look for other places of compensation. You look for other places where money is going to come from. And one of those other places is something called underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. Now, that applies to the person who actually gets injured by someone who doesn't have enough insurance or doesn't have any insurance at all. As a side note, I encourage everybody listening to this to take a look at your insurance policy. See, underinsured motorist coverage is not automatic. It's something that you have to specifically sign off on when you are engaging with your insurance agent and getting your policy. And you want to make sure that you do check, and it's only a few extra dollars a month, but it's worth it, because if you get hit by somebody and you have some significant injuries and the person doesn't have insurance and you don't have insurance, then you're not able to be compensated for your losses from missing work and for those medical bills that can stack up, and for the pain and discomfort that you're experiencing as a result of what somebody else did wrong. So you definitely want to make sure that the person has insurance. And so that's certainly a question that we ask, and we make sure that before we can proceed, that we're going to be able to recover some type of compensation. And that's a key question about whether or not that's going to happen. That's what we do in these types of cases. Oh, and then so after we ask those three primary questions: where did this happen? What type of medical treatment did you receive? And was there insurance? Was the other person cited? We then strongly encourage our clients to make sure that they follow whatever recommendations they receive from a medical provider. If you go to the hospital and they say follow up with your primary care physician, follow up with your primary care physician. If you go to the hospital and they say you might need an MRI because your knee is still troubling you, get an MRI. If the doctor says you are to be off work for 3 days and no traveling, it may be hard for you to do, but stay off work for 3 days and don't travel. So we strongly encourage our clients, in order to get better, that they comply with what the medical professionals that have been attending to them advise. And then, of course, we send what's called letters of representation to all the parties involved. We send letters of representation to the person who did wrong. We send letters of representation to our own client's insurance. We send letters of representation if there are businesses in the area where there may be cameras that may have captured the crash itself. We send letters to those businesses asking them to preserve any of those videos so that we can have that evidence. We kind of comb the file and comb the statement from our client to make sure that we throw as wide a net as possible to ensure that we can collect whatever information is out there, and again, that we identify all sources to ensure that the client is properly compensated. Now, as the case goes on, and these cases rarely resolve themselves very quickly appropriately. They can resolve quickly, but it's never to the benefit of the client to have it done that quickly. But we monitor and we keep track, and we stay in communication with some of the medical providers. And we also stay in contact with the client to make sure that they are following through and that they're doing okay and that they're getting better. And we want to be there to answer any questions that they may have through the process. And once they advise that they're finished treating, or if they're not finished treating, there's a decision that there's no more treatment that can be provided that's going to make them better, we then collect all of the documents, all the records, all the bills, all the expert statements, and we put together a demand letter. And we send that demand to the insurance adjuster or to the insurance company or to the other party, saying this is what we believe will be a reasonable outcome in order for our client to be made whole. And then we negotiate back and forth until our client is satisfied that what we've obtained for them is a good outcome.